boats, but you figure out you better know your strengths and accentuate your strengths. And you kind of ignore some of the weaknesses, but not the ones that are holes in your boat. If you ignore a hole in your boat, you're going to sink. So there are some weaknesses that you don't need to worry about. There's some things that, we all have little weaknesses, and let's try to strengthen ourselves where we're weak, but let's really strengthen ourselves where we're strong. And let's get strong in critical areas, like goal setting, like dreams turned into goals, turned into plans. This morning, as we're packing up and getting ready to leave, my wife doesn't go anywhere lately without this big bag that's got a bunch of plans in it. She's building two homes on our property. I think I may have told you that we sold our ranch. Did we tell you that? Yeah. We sold the Homestead Ranch. We had a billionaire that came and wanted it really bad, and we gave in to him during COVID. And we sold that ranch and we bought a farm. So I went from a rancher to a farmer. But really, I'm a business builder. Somebody asked me, well, if you're a farmer, what are you farming? What is your crop? Grandkids. Honest. We just have this cute farm with 7 lots around the outside of it. So the backyards all have gates that go from the homes to the farm. So the kids in the backyard, our kids and our grandkids can all be together. My wife right now is building a rec center that has a bowling alley, and it has a big movie theater, and it's got a big swimming pool and lots of fun stuff. The big double trampolines with walls they can jump off and do their flips and do all whatever stuff they do. And so she's in the plans, she's got all the plans drawn up, but they're not quite done. She hasn't stamped them and said approved yet. And so she hovers over her plans a lot. Can you imagine building anything without plans? You can't. I don't know. You got to have the foundation plans, and they're planning. Somebody planned these circular lights in here. Somebody planned all this stuff. Somebody dared to plan it. Nothing is ever built without plans, unless it's with foolishness. She's got things in there that would shock you, that would just surprise you. The fun things. This is going to be a high-end bowling alley in the basement, deep down inside this fun rec center that she's building. She's building some bedrooms in different places, and some lofts, and some secret rooms, and some fun stuff. She's building a grandchildren's haven down inside there that's got little caverns and slides and just stuff that some of you were at our home. Who came to our ranch? Did you see that playroom? Yes. Did any of you slide down the slide in our kids' playroom? Raise your hand if you. Yes. So so times that by 10, that's what she's now doing. She's building a playroom for grandkids. And we have a big family. Lisa and I have 6 children. We had 3 boys, and she couldn't get a girl, so our 4th was a girl, and then our 5th was a girl, and our 6th was a girl. So we have 6 kids. Some of you say, well, when God told Adam and Eve to multiply and replenish the earth, he didn't mean to populate the earth single-handedly. But we weren't trying to populate the earth single-handedly, but my wife wanted a big family, much more than me. We have 6 incredible kids that are 3 boys and then 3 girls, and then all you got to do to have grandkids is have some kids. And what happens is it multiplies. And so we have 20 grandkids. Wow. We were all in Yellowstone last week. We have a big family bus and a driver that can take us and do fun things. Once a year we get in our family bus and we have somebody drive us to Las Vegas. And we give the kids a bunch of money and let them shop and let them go do fun things. And my wife just has this fun day, one day a year, the day after Christmas. Every year the entire family comes and we just come. Actually, it ends up being 2 days, but it's one full day of them just doing basically whatever they want. And so our family has some fun things we do. But we have these plans. My wife has plans for that rec center. And it's got the foundation plan and then the building plan all the way through it. And so why don't you do that with your life? Why don't you do that with your life? Can you imagine building a great life without planning it? I say that every time I ever speak to anybody. How many of you ever watched the old John Wayne movies? Who likes to watch Westerns? Anybody watch the old Wild West Westerns? Some of you say, I don't care about those Westerns. I used to, as a boy, I loved horses. In fact, I was raised with horses. When I was a little boy, I learned that a baby horse, when it's born, if you go sleep with it and imprint it, breathe in its nostrils, and let it become as comfortable with you as it is with its mom, it will think of you as a sibling, and it will love you. And I did that with some horses. And I had this precious horse that became mine. It wasn't a quarter horse. It wasn't a Shetland. It was a cross in between. And this horse loved me. And I would go, when it was born, I would go and spend the night sleeping in the hay with this horse, hugging up on it, and just breathing on it, and doing all that stuff. I did. And that horse became my best friend for years as a boy. And so I loved horses, and I love Westerns, and you don't need to, but I always tell my wife, if I could ever just take one evening off and go do something fun, it'd be just give me some popcorn and put in an old Western. So, but in the old Wild West, they always had these gunslingers, you know, they had their big holsters and their guns and their big belts, and they'd always get into fights. And whoever's the quickest draw would win. Is that true? Yeah. They would win. And if you weren't a quick draw, you were probably going to die in the old Wild West. And so there was a phrase they coined called grease your holster. You know what that means? They would actually take grease, and inside of that leather holster, they'd take their guns out and they would put grease inside of the holster, so that when they drew their guns, there was no drag. Grease your holster. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to say, okay, get ready. I'm going to ask you for something. How many of you, raise your hand, how many of you have plans? How many of you have a plan for 2022, of what you're going to do in 2022? How many of you feel like you've got your plans? Raise your hand. Okay, so get ready. Show it to me. You better grease your holsters. In the Wild West of business life, you'd be dead already. You better not be anywhere without. I don't go anywhere without my plans. And I hover over them and I plan them. I mean, I just know what I want to do and be. I'm not going to beg you, but I almost beg you to get serious about this stuff. Your life, guess what that rec center is going to look like? It's going to look just like the plans for it. Guess what your life's going to look like? It's going to either look like you planned it and did something significant, or it's going to look like there was no plan. And so if somebody ever again asks you, show it to me, you better have it within seconds around you. Don't you tell me you're well planned if you don't have something. So stand up. You got one right here. So I want you to get your plans. And I'm just asking all of you to be serious about this. Will you do that? Will you be serious about it? Yes. Say yes.
Yes.
All right. Last little while with you here. I'm not going to take the time that I'd actually planned on maybe sharing a few things out of my plans with you, and I'm not good. Instead, I'm just going to share with you a couple things that can happen to you. Actually, let me run through 4 or 5 notes that I put down so I don't forget to tell you. And I have a whole big section here on plans. I'm going to take another few minutes with you. Is that a deal?
Yes.
Get serious about your plans and make sure your plans give you butterflies. Have you ever got butterflies? Yes. I told some of you this story. I think I was on Zoom with you a few weeks ago, some of you, maybe a month ago. Teresa, I don't remember if I mentioned this to you or not, but I sent my wife a text about maybe a month or a month and a half ago, I sent her a little text out of the blue. I was just thinking of her and how grateful I am for her and how much I admire and adore this woman. And I sent her a text. I don't remember exactly what it said, but there was this long pause. Like she didn't hit me right back, and sometimes she doesn't because she's busy, and sometimes I don't hit her right back. But hours later, she texted me back with these little love emojis, and it said, "Your text gave me butterflies." Aww. That's all it said. And I thought, that's cool. I didn't know an old man could give his wife butterflies. And so she said that your text gave me butterflies. And I hit her back, and we had some fun talking about butterflies. But it reminded me that I remember back when I was in high school and when I was in college, my dreams used to give me butterflies. Do you remember when you used to dream about your first home or your first cars, or you used to dream about that date you were going to go on, and you dream? I mean, some of that stuff would give you butterflies. And I remember vividly the butterflies I used to get. Do you remember that, or am I weird?
I remember it.
I know I'm weird. I know I need to. But I want you to get butterflies when you think about your dreams and your goals and your plans. I want it to stir your soul and get you so excited that you have an emotional connection with this incredible future that you're going to build. And you take what you've gotten from this convention and you add your dreams to it, your goals, your plans of what you're going to do this year. Go build a big base shop. That's another note I put to myself. Encourage you to build a big base shop. Your base shop will determine the outcome of your WFG business. All good things. Say this with me. All good things.
All good things.
Come to those.
Come to those.
Who build a big base shop. No good things.
No good things.
Come to those who don't. You need to build a base shop. Whose base shop are you building right now? You're building your SMD's base shop, right? Say right. Wrong. I'm building my base shop. Say that. I'm building my base shop. It's your base. You might not be an SMD yet. So yes, you're part of another SMD because you need to. But you're going to be an SMD, right? Yes. By when?
October.
Well, here we go again. Show me. Show me the plan. Show me your game plan. Show me exactly how many more recruits and how many sales and what you've got to do to hit these goals by the end of this year. A plan is a plan, and it's a specific plan that shows how many recruits and how many sales and how many licensing and how many, just the things you're going to do. It's your plan that you're going to follow between now and whatever your date is for you to be an SMD, but you're building your base shop. I want to encourage you to go build your base shop. Of all the things I want you to work on most, though, that will help you in building your base shop and all these other things, I want you to go to work on you. You go to work on you. You go to work on you, and specifically in two areas. First is your mentality. Probably 80% of this game plan for 2022 is still mentality. I think it's probably more like 90%. I think success is 90% mental and 2%, or 98% mental and 2% physical. And yet we spend 98% of our time worrying about the physical things, and we're not working on our mentality. I work on my mentality through the things I read, through the things I associate, mostly my dreams and goals, of course. But I want to be the most positive person that I've ever met. I want to have a positive outlook. I want to expect to win. I wrote a book about it because I think most people don't expect to win, and I want to help people expect it and prepare for it. People who win big, they win big because they plan to win and they prepare to win and they learn to expect it. They learn to expect it. They believe that they can succeed, and they put together plans as though they're going to succeed. And then they execute those plans with precision because they plan to succeed. So I just want you to work on your mentality. I want you to work on your mentality. I want you to get to where you're the most positive person, to where you have an expectation, to where you are optimistic and positive. And then number 2, I want you to work on your skill set. I want you to get really good at giving presentations, really good at the approach, really good. And that takes practice. That's how you overcome fear, by the way. Fear and confidence are opposite each other. You develop confidence through practice. Practice, 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 practice. I can't tell you how many times I've practiced over the years giving presentations. When I first got married, my first year, we had a little dog named Sandy, brand new little puppy, and Lisa, my wife, and our dog Sandy used to sit there for hours while I would practice. And my wife would tell you, she always jokes about it, she says, well, Sandy was lucky because Sandy could at least get up and go outside and go to the bathroom. I couldn't even get up and go to the bathroom. Because I was in my practice mode. I'd have my wife and the dog would be sitting there with it, and I'd be practicing and practicing and practicing. And I'd say, what can I do better? And she'd say, I don't know, and I'd practice again. I'd just keep practicing giving BPMs and practice giving presentations and practice even applications and practice what I'd say, practice my approaches, my phone calls. I got really good at calling people. I got really good at asking questions of others. Barry Ryan teaching about curiosity. I got really good at asking questions. My number 1 question, hey, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? I got good at asking that. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? Because people open up when they answer that. And then I got really good at saying, at asking this major question. This one question changed my life. Are you financially? So after I ask, do you mind if I ask you a question? They say no. Say, are you financially where you thought you would be by now? Are you financially where you thought you'd be by now? What are people going to say to that? No. And I say, are you close? They say, no. Then sit your butt down and I got to talk to you about some stuff. I didn't say sit your butt down, but I'm going to sit their butt down and talk to them. So, but practice, practice, practice presentation, practice contacting, practice this stuff. So, I want you to say this with me. Say success is totally indiscriminate. It does not care who owns it. You believe that? There's no discrimination, success. Success is indiscriminate. It does not know who owns it or care. It goes to who deserves it. And it doesn't check if you're male or female, doesn't check if you're Canadian or not, doesn't check, the computer doesn't check in. You know what it checks? Is whether or not you did the work. Whether or not you did the work. And it will reward those who did the work. I need to close, but I want you to say this with me. Say, I belong here. I've planted my flag here. This is my last stop. I'm going to win here. I belong at the top. I set that alarm. Okay, I'm sorry that I did that to you, but I had to do that to you because I know I've got these other Sonny Huang and all these folks would be mad at me. Hey, look me in the eye. I believe in you. I do. We need you. I'm talking about you and you and you and you. We need you. The consumer needs you. Your families need you. Future generations need you. This moment and this company and the consumer and your family, they demand and deserve your very best. So let's give it our best. Is that a deal?
Yes.
Say, I am giving my best. Love you. Thank you.